What you're doing in terms of naturopathy, provide an alternate to modern medicine, or is it to work together with modern medicine?
Nature Cures is working with this incredible body who has gone to great lengths to keep us alive.
Yes.
Little by little, it restored the balance.
Would you accept that there's cases where modern medicine is valuable?
Sitting next to an orthopedic surgeon, he said, most of the operations I do are unnecessary.
Wow.
Penetrates deep. It can break up a bone spur, it break up tumours. And we're so used to medicine, rash, cortisone cream, gone. Headache, ibuprofen, gone. But it actually hasn't gone. It's just masked.
Things like endometriosis today, 3 years ago being recognized as a disease, we don't really have solutions for that.
What's endometrium? It's the lining of the uterus. One lady said her blood loss halved after 1 month on that.
What are 3 things that I should do to ensure that my child does not have precocious puberty?
Go back to your silks, your cottons for menstruation, puberty. It's actually 16 to 18, and we are not seeing that anymore. Chickens have been given growth stimulants. Chooks are falling over because the breasts are so big.
Is there a message to women in terms of the biological clock?
I believe you can slow that biological clock down, getting more sleep.
Yeah.
Drinking more water, keeping away from the stimulants. A lot of women suffer in silence, don't want to talk about this. We've got to talk about it. If the body has a problem, it's a voice. And if we don't listen to the first whisper, the body will start screaming. 6 hours sleep a night for 10 nights in a row doubles the risk of depression. Even if someone's been classified as clinically depressed, I still question that. The side effect of many antidepressants is suicide.
So here is a statistic that has stayed with me. Until 1993, women were routinely excluded from clinical drug trials in the United States, not as an oversight, as policy. And the concern was that female hormones and menstrual cycles would complicate the data. And this was just as recently as 1 generation ago, which means that for decades, much of modern medicine studied the male body as the default body, and women were then prescribed those same treatments anyway. And maybe, just maybe, that explains why even today, so many women still feel unheard in healthcare. Women are more health conscious than ever before, and yet they're exhausted, burnt out, hormonally overwhelmed, struggling with sleep, stress, fertility, inflammation, gut issues, and we're still being told that everything is normal. So where exactly is the gap? And that is what today's conversation is all about. Hello and welcome to All About Her, and today we're going to be discussing why women still don't feel heard by medicine and if naturopathy can help us. And today's episode is especially special for us at All About Her because for the very first time, we are hosting an international guest on the show. She's a speaker, an educator, and one of the most talked about voices in the world of natural health and wellness. Over the years, she's built a massive global audience through her lectures, her books, conversations around naturopathy and holistic healing, particularly focused on how modern lifestyles may be affecting women's health. And that is exactly why this conversation felt so important to have. So please join me in welcoming Barbara O'Neill. Thank you so much, Barbara, for making the time. I know you've been very busy, and we're so excited because I just said in my introduction that you are our first international guest. So I feel like our podcast is now going global in many ways. And I've, of course, followed you for many years. And I believe that you've helped lots of people. And I wanted to start off because there might be some people on All About Her who are unfamiliar with your work. And when they look you up, as I did, of course, when I was doing some research, the first thing that you go to is Wikipedia. And when you go to Wikipedia, there's a warning also. I thought I would ask you to respond to that first to the effect that when you go to Wikipedia in Australia, they say that there's certain limitations and restrictions that have been placed on you to practice. Why do you think that is, and how do you respond to that?
When I first got the news that I was under investigation, we were very surprised.
Yeah.
And when I realised that the people who'd put in complaints about me, I have never met. They have never been at our retreat. So it appears to be political, unfortunately. And it appears to be because my husband has a political party called HEART, Health, Environment, Accountability, Rights and Transparency. It's basically campaigning for free choice.
Right.
Because when you look at the claims about me, they're ludicrous. It's giving a baby goat's milk. I mean, babies have been having goat's milk since time dot. And my husband said to them, So, well, what's the problem with goat's milk? And they said, well, it could be lethal. Michael said, where's the evidence that a baby has died? They said, well, while no baby has died, it's a possibility.
Right.
So when we heard that, we basically realised that this made no sense at all.
Right.
I was very upset when I heard. All I've ever wanted to do was to help people, to educate people, to have a better life. And after I realised what had happened to me, I mourned. I mourned about 10 minutes, and then I thought, I wonder what God's got planned for me now.
Yeah.
and because I know God has a plan no matter what happens. And
Yeah.
sometimes the worst things that have happened in our life can be catalysts for
Right.
even greater things. And that appears to be what happened to me. My husband said, what do you want to do? You can retire, your retirement age, or we can go to court. Well, that was a little scary for me. Or you can go overseas. I said, I'll go overseas because I've never had so much information in my brain. I've never had so much experience, and I feel great. So this is my 6th year of travelling 9 months of the world.
And do you feel it was a catalyst and it's now opened up frontiers that you wouldn't have explored otherwise?
Do you know, it absolutely has. In fact, in 2021, that was my first year of travelling extensively. I was in Germany and a lady said to me, Barbara, I'm sorry to say this, but we're so glad you were banned because it's freed you to come to us.
Yes.
And at that moment, the light bulb went off.
Yes.
The ban has actually freed me. Because if I hadn't been banned, I would still be up in the rainforest, still running the retreat and travelling here and there.
Yeah.
But it has really opened it up. In fact, my husband said, I'm thinking of writing to the Healthcare Complaints Commission and thanking them.
I think, again, when I was reading, the concern was for young children and the concern was for cancer patients. Because they said, of course, and in India we believe a lot in Ayurveda and in naturopathy and also in food, in our kitchens, in what our grandparents have done. I don't think that this is something that is revolutionary for a lot of people in terms of they've also not been able to afford a lot of things that modern medicine might afford them. So they do tend to go to the kitchen often for solutions. But there's a difference between having informed, knowledgeable, all the things that you've studied for so many years. And that's why I think people will be drawn to you, especially in India. But the concern was, I think, for not helping people, but harming people potentially. If there's a child involved or if there's someone who's suffering from cancer.
That's right, and I understand that. But in the 27 years that we've been running our retreat, there's not one complaint.
Yeah.
There's no harm that has happened. If anything, there are reports after reports of healing, of quality of life.
Yes.
And when I hear that, my great concern is what they inject into newborn babies. And when I look at Robert Kennedy Jr. in America, he has successfully stopped that injection for Hep B that most babies have been having as soon as they're born. Yeah. So you see, that's what I think let's look at the true concerns here. And regarding cancer, see, what my husband campaigns for, and I too, is free choice. Yeah. You know, that we have the right to choose what we do with our bodies. I don't tell anyone what to do. I just give information. And so a few days ago I was interviewed and an oncologist had sent in a question. Please debunk the myth that cancer is a fungus and sodium bicarbonate will heal it. Please debunk that you said that. And I said, I can't debunk what I have not said. Yes, in some cases fungus might be a part, but in some cases not. And sodium bicarbonate can't cure cancer. The only thing that can cure cancer is our body. Right. Now, sodium bicarbonate, given in some ways, might be part of the conditions to give the body full healing. Right. But it's the body that heals.
I think that's what's important to try and understand is what you're doing in terms of naturopathy. Is it to sort of provide an alternate to modern medicine, or is it to work together with modern medicine? Would you accept that there's cases where modern medicine is valuable and there must have been times when you've been to the doctor?
Oh, when I broke my arm two years ago, I was very glad for the skill of the orthopedic surgeon that pulled it into place and the pain-killing medication so I didn't feel it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, in a crisis can save a life. And surgery has come a long way. There are so many incredible surgeries they do now called keyhole. They don't actually have to open up the whole body.
Laparoscopic and whatever.
Absolutely. But the problem is it's spilled out into day-to-day life. I was on a plane one day sitting next to an orthopedic surgeon. He said, most of the operations I do are unnecessary.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I have met people who were told they needed an operation. They decided to go to a physiotherapist. They decided to build up their core muscles, and the operation was unnecessary.
Yes. No, it's true. Before we get into where I feel modern medicine is flailing, could you perhaps talk about 3 instances where somebody must go to the doctor?
Okay, when you break your arm. When a lady said to me, Barbara, I've got a fibroid so big, it's blocking my colon. I said, you've got to go and have that one out. If you'd come to us a year ago, maybe we could have shown you how it wouldn't have got so big.
Yes.
And so basically they're life-threatening. And if someone's smashed up in a car accident, well, the skill of the surgeon today, and praise God for anaesthetics so you don't feel a surgery happening. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. But I guess they're crises, aren't they?
I think perhaps modern medicine, as you said, is for emergencies, for crisis. What I want to talk about today is more chronic disease. Also things that perhaps they say, oh, there's no real cure for this. Or modern medicine hasn't been able to. I feel in certain cases they've not really been bothered also, especially when it comes to women. Again, in my introduction, I referred to the fact that up until just a generation ago, they used the male body as a test for a lot of medicines and a lot of treatments because the hormonal cycles of women would be confusing to the data. And I feel perhaps that's why things like endometriosis today, which have only very recently, 3 years ago, been recognized as a disease, perhaps we don't really have solutions for that. Again, in India, women typically, culturally, don't talk so much, certainly about things that bother them, certainly about things that cause them pain. We've had 3 conversations about menopause on this show. And in the first one, people are saying, oh, do we really need to talk about this? Do we really need to talk about our periods? Typically, we're taught to suffer in silence, and most women are happy to do that. The idea is not to create noise, but to spread information. That's the objective of All About Her. And in the interest of time, again, I thought, why not come up with 5 diseases that I've been thinking about, or problems, issues that women deal with. And perhaps you can take us through those, and it'll be hugely beneficial for women who are watching. The first one, because we're actually shooting it at 2:00 today, is on endometriosis. This is something that I know plagues a lot of women. I know that there's no real cure for it, if these are the right words, in modern medicine. But it's been acknowledged as a priority disease just recently in 2023. Everyone, whenever we have a discussion on hormones or women, they say, please have a podcast on endometriosis because I'm struggling with it. I've been told surgery. I've done a surgery. It's come back. I've been told hormones. But, I have early menopause-like symptoms and it's affecting the quality of my life. So can you help some people who are perhaps suffering from endometriosis?
I can. And I've just been hanging on your every word till I could speak.
Yeah, I'm so sorry I took so long.
It's all right. No, it's all right because that background is necessary. And I'm sorry, I'm impatient.
No, that's good. But I didn't want you to have to repeat things.
No. I thank you very, very much for that. So I'm going to tell a story. And I think stories illustrate. So I was in London 18 months ago. And a young woman, 25 years old, came up and she said, Barbara, I've got endometriosis. She said, a few months ago, I had a surgery where they burnt out those little pockets. She said, I didn't have pain for a couple of months, but it's come back. I'm about to have another one, and I have just heard your lecture on hormones. She said, thank you, because I now realise the reason why those little endometrial pockets. So what's endometrium? It's the lining of the uterus. So when the hormones are out of balance and the estrogen's too high, too much endometrium grows, it starts to wander all through the abdominal wall. And then just at period time, when the hormones drop, the blood nest comes away, all those little pockets bleed and they've got nowhere to go.
Right.
That's the pain.
Right.
See, I always want to know why.
Yes.
She said, I have just discovered that if I balance my hormones with the wild yam cream, it will automatically boost progesterone, bring estrogen down, and it's estrogen that causes the growth.
Yes.
And at the same time, wear castor oil compresses. Castor oil penetrates deep. It can break up a bone spur. It can break up tumours. Yes, it can cleanse and break up those little endometrium pockets. And with this lady, she now had scar tissue from the previous surgery. It'll even soften the scar tissue.
Yes. Right.
1 year later, I went back. And 1 year later, that same young woman came to me. She was beaming.
Really?
She said, thank you. Thank you. She said, I no longer have endometriosis.
So it'll actually address the lesions?
Yes. The castor oil will break them up and the yam cream will stop the cause.
Right.
Which is that high
Which is the estrogen.
She said, I've just had a scan a month ago and there are no endometrial pockets. That's why I gave you the story.
Yes.
So beautiful.
Yes.
You see, there's always a cause. And did you know that 100 years ago, they'd hardly heard of endometriosis? But today in America, there are 10 million cases. And you will find it comes hand in hand with 1957. In 1957, the first contraceptive pill was introduced to women. 1960s called the sexual revolution. See, I'm a baby boomer. It was in the 70s that I was a young woman and every woman I knew was on the pill.
Yes.
But no one ever told us of the dangers.
No.
No one ever told us that this contraceptive pill with its synthetic hormones disrupts our hormone balance. And that's why we don't fall pregnant.
Right.
But that disruption, it's actually causing other problems. Right. And the disruption is a rise in estrogen, a drop in progesterone, and progesterone's mother hormone. Progesterone protects that estrogen from going too high, protects the testosterone.
I have so many questions because my progesterone is now on the decline because I'm 47. And I will come to perimenopause in a little bit. I'll hold on to myself because that is what is closest to my heart. One thing, because you said, of course, during your menstrual cycle, the endometriosis, the little bleeding happens around the pelvic area. But now, quite recently, they're talking about, the endometrial lining can also be found in other parts of the body. It can grow almost like cancer. In the brain, and you can get sort of, during your periods, you can get sort of a migraine that is connected to that. I wanted to ask you what you think about that.
I question that. I question that because that's a long way to travel.
Yes.
I question that. I do know that in this imbalance, which is estrogen dominance, progesterone deficiency, let's look at progesterone. Do you know progesterone's happy hormone?
I do know.
Progesterone is...
I know very well because I'm lacking it.
Progesterone's the hormone that keeps us calm, that actually helps us to sleep better. It's a wonderful hormone, and that's the one that's been displaced. But when you reinstate mother hormone, when you reinstate progesterone to her rightful position, she brings that estrogen down. And she helps ladies sleep. She helps the hot flushes to ease. From the 9-year-old to the 90-year-old.
Right.
We find that this cream is helping people.
And so my logical assumption from that is that even of course, synthetic hormones we understand, but now there are bioidentical hormones in the market, which are not, equine, or they're not perhaps harmful in the way that synthetic hormones have been. A lot of women are now turning to those. So even taking progesterone that is bioidentical, a lot of women are being prescribed that when they're diagnosed with endometriosis, for example, or they're being put on things that block estrogen, which then leads to some hot flashes and a lot of the things that come with menopause that would not afflict them for many, many years.
Yeah. So what I like to do We live in a body that can heal itself. We live in a body that runs according to precision balance. And as soon as you start giving that body the right conditions, the balance can be restored. Taking the bioidentical hormone, progesterone, that has certainly helped many people. But the problem is the body stops making its own.
Yeah.
It's almost as if the body goes, this is good. We don't have to do that anymore. And I meet many women in America who've been on the bioidentical for years. They're just not doing it anymore. And then they stop and go onto the wild yam cream and they give me feedback. They said, this is better. And it's superior because it's working with this body.
So what is in this wild yam cream?
It contains, the wild yam plant contains a plant chemical called diosgenin. And in a laboratory, diosgenin can be converted to progesterone. Right. That's your bioidentical.
Right.
So in the wild yam cream, it's still in its raw state, which is diosgenin. So when that's applied to the cells, the fat cells, you see our sex hormones are made from cholesterol. That's why cholesterol is an important one as well. So what it does, it stimulates the pathway that your body uses to make its own progesterone. So this yam cream with its plant chemicals from the wild yam, which is diosgenin, it works with those hormone pathways of the body. There's a psalm in the Bible, it's Psalm 104 verse 14. It says, God gave herbs for the service of man. I love that description because it pictures in my mind these plants coming into the body saying, where do you want me?
Yeah.
How can I help you?
No, you've got a whole book about it.
Yeah, it's actually service.
Yes.
So it comes in and it does. Unfortunately, the drugs, the synthetic hormones, they just come in and say, get out of my way, I've got a job to do whether you need it or not.
Yes.
And that's why the herbs are superior. Medicine actually calls it synergism. And many functional doctors are going over to this now because these doctors are starting to see, yes, the drugs mask the symptoms, but they're not actually healing. The body's not healing.
And in a year, there was tangible evidence from this lady who said, so this, because these things take time, how long can one assume to get better?
We have found it takes at least a year for that balance to be restored. But in saying that, we are finding women are getting results within the first month. One lady said her blood loss halved after 1 month on that yam cream.
Yeah.
So you see, I had to put a number on it because I've had 3 generations of women, 3 generations of hormonal imbalance.
Sure.
Well, the good news is it doesn't take 3 generations to remedy.
Yeah.
And it might have taken 20 years to get out, but it won't take 20 years to rebalance.
Yes.
So when you step back and look at that perspective, it's actually quick.
Yes, no, it is. I only ask because a lot of people will want to know how long
they will want to know.
When they're trying something like a wild yam cream, they'll say, okay, how long should I try it for before I expect to see results, and when should I?
And expecting to see results is very difficult to put your finger on that one because what's the problem?
Right.
And we're so used to medicine. Rash, cortisone cream, gone.
Yes.
Headache, ibuprofen, gone. We're used to this, but it actually hasn't gone.
No, it just masking gone.
It's just masked.
Yeah.
So with Nature Cures, it's working with this incredible body who has gone to great lengths to keep us alive.
Yes.
And little by little, it restored the balance. It's like this. If we were to detox and all the chemicals would come out of our body right now, we'd all die. Our body lets it come out in a way that keeps us alive. You might have heard the treatment. Treatment was successful, but the patient died. We want to keep the person alive and functioning while little by little the balance is restored.
Right. And as I was talking to you, I remembered 2 things. One was precocious puberty, and actually after endometriosis, I wanted to touch on that, as well as the biological clock, because these are 2 things that women in my life and circle are faced with. Some are mothers. My daughter is going to be turning 9. The concern is that girls are getting their periods earlier and earlier. I think on this subject, modern medicine is perhaps on the same page and is understanding that lifestyle might have something to do with this, and diet and nutrition, cortisol, screens, sleep are contributing to this, and perhaps bow down to naturopathy. But what are 3 things that I should do to ensure that my child does not have precocious puberty?
Unfortunately, many people, many women who are on the pill in their teens, in their early 20s, their children now are taking on that. You see, because the day-by-day application of the pill, after a few years, that starts to interfere with the DNA, so the genetic code that we're giving to our children. And, of course, you can't change that.
Luckily, I wasn't on the pill.
Great.
So.
That happened way back there. And for women who weren't on the pill, there are other factors. They're the fabrics that women are wearing, especially in their underwear. Nylon, acrylic, polyester. They are 3 fabrics that were created in a chemical laboratory. So I say, especially to the Indian ladies, go back to your natural fibre. Go back to your silks, your linens, your cottons. I think India has the most beautiful cottons.
Yes.
That's causing a disruption. The screens, the figures are young girls who put the laptop on the lap. Mm-hmm. I say protect the family jewels.
Yeah, absolutely.
The laptop on the lap, they're finding that when they were doing this in their adolescence, their teen years, now they're in their 30s, 48% miscarriage in those women who had the laptop on their lap. Yeah. And for men too.
Yes.
We're finding prostate cancer, in testicular cancer in young men in their 30s who've been laptop on the lap. Please put the laptop on the bench. Keep it away from those precious organs. But also women, with the breast, the computer's there, the electromagnetic field is going through there. So these are all areas to be cautious of. Plus, I know in Australia, chickens have been given growth stimulants, and I think in most countries now.
In India also they say that chickens have hormones.
So I know in some markets, I was told this in Jakarta, that the chooks are falling over because the breasts are so big. So of course when people eat those chickens, the hormones are getting affected. So can you see what I'm doing here? I'm actually exploring all the areas that can come in and cause this imbalance. Mm-hmm. So please keep your daughters and your sons away from chicken unless it's organic, and eggs unless they're organic, and also away from this chemical fabrics.
And screens.
We've got to go back. And the screens, exposure to the screens, to a kindness to your child is to limit their exposure. And also, what's normal for menstruation, puberty, it's actually 16 to 18. And we are not seeing that anymore. No. So when a child starts to develop at 9, that's a clear sign that the hormones are already out of balance for all the ways that I just mentioned. Yeah. So they can go on the Yam Cream. For a 9-year-old girl, if she's developing breasts, then half dose for that little one. Yeah. I have a friend, and her 14-year-old boy was developing breasts, and she was on the pill for 5 years before she gave birth to him. Right. So she used the cream for him, and within 3 months the breasts were going down. So that is good news. One lady said, "Will I give it to my 10-year-old?" I said, "Not until you see a problem." Not until you see a problem.
Before we go on to my favorite, which is the perimenopause and the menopause, the other thing is egg quality and women wanting to have children later in life, and then of course being faced with declining egg quality. But our careers are taking off and we have to make that tough choice. Men perhaps don't have to make that choice. And a lot of women want to work and find that they can't do both. So I understand we can't fight biology, but what can you say? And my specific question is there anything that we can do at all to improve egg quality in our mid-30s?
You certainly can, because our body is made up of the food we eat. So the question is, what are you eating? Yeah. We should be eating organic. We should be eating high-quality food. High-quality building materials will build a high-quality building. Yeah. Poor-quality building materials will build a poor building. Yeah. So nutrients are vital. Keeping well hydrated is vital. Exercising is vital. The body must be kept strong. And that's only done by daily exercise. Yes, I've done my 40 push-ups today. My ladies' push-ups.
You've done 40 push-ups today?
Oh, yes, every morning.
Wow, that's amazing.
So you see what I mean? All these little factors come in, and when you sleep, the body revives, regenerates, recharges. And many people are missing out on that.
Most people, in this country especially, people sleep very late.
That's
we eat
right.
very late.
That's right.
We don't get enough sleep.
So it's time to turn that around.
Yeah.
If you want the results.
Yes. But the message, is there a message to women from you in terms of the biological clock at all?
There is. I believe you can slow that biological clock down. I'm surprised that I'm still going. I'm surprised that I'm still able to do what I do. And I think, why am I still feeling fantastic? Why don't I have any aches or pains? And I believe it's because I get 8 hours sleep every night. I'm very careful on what I eat. I'm cautious to exercise every day. I drink my water. Yeah. And people say, how do you do it? I say, I found a formula and it sustains me.
Yes.
Because I know we live in an incredible body and it's aging too quickly. So ladies, you can slow this aging process down by getting more sleep, drinking more water, keeping away from the stimulants, having nourishing food, exercising every day. You can slow it down.
So I do all of that. Good. I'm really invested in my health. I care. I think it's important. I also am fortunate enough to have the time to do it, because all of this takes time. To take out that time to go to the gym for an hour, to do the strength training, to think about the food that you're going to eat. A lot of it, people say, oh, organic food is also hard to get and it's expensive. So there is an element of privilege in my life which enables me to prioritize my health and my wellness. And yet, at the age of 47, I feel I'm struggling a little bit. Yeah. I think it is probably perimenopause. And my question is, at what point do I accept that there's certain things in my life I am aging and I should embrace? And what are the things that I should fight? Sounds a bit violent, but what are the things that I should try and embrace to help myself along?
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. And compared to me, you're very young.
I'm comparing myself to my husband, who's 5 years younger than me.
so too young to start aging, as you described. So I would like to suggest that the Yam Cream could be incredibly helpful. Absolutely. And the body is aging today too young, and there is actually no need. There's no need. We all have the same time. Yeah. We all have 24 hours, no, not 25, 24 hours in a day. And there's, in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, it says, there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. So I'd like to say to the listeners, no matter who you are, no matter where you live or how you live, we all have the same amount of time.
Yes.
We do have time to exercise.
Oh, no, we waste so much time.
That's right. Now, if you want to know where you're wasting time, do an assessment of how much time you're on technology.
Oh, yeah.
And when I was in the slums of South Africa, I noticed that on every tin shed there was a
little satellite.
A satellite. Yeah. Okay. We do have time.
Yes.
We do have time. So I'm challenged by what you say, because I believe you can.
Yeah.
It's the old saying, where there's a will, there's a way. If you say you can, you will. And if you say you can't, you're right.
Yes.
So no matter who we are, we do have time. So it's actually finding out what you're going to do with your time.
Yes.
And it's not a bad idea to start assessing your time. Oh, you've just discovered you spend 5 hours on technology. You have time. The high intensity interval training, that's 15 minutes a day.
Yeah. It's not hard to do.
It's not hard to do. We can all drink water.
Yeah. Yes.
And we can all do the best we can with the food that we're eating. You might have to source out a little bit further where to get those fresh fruit and vegetables. Yeah. But you can. You can. And people often say to me, how do you live this life traveling so much? Tomorrow I fly to Croatia. A week later I fly to Serbia. And then a week later I go 3 weeks in America. Then I'm home for 2 weeks. My husband's been very gracious to give me 2 weeks at home. How do I do it? I keep to the life. Those basic laws of health, I keep to them.
What about jet lag?
I find that I don't get much because I do not sleep in the day if I've just travelled. I might have half an hour and I let the sun go into my eyes. I don't look at the sun, but being outside, and I know that those sun's rays will reset my body clock. So, and I also immediately go into the time frame of that country. I might spend maybe one night of being awake from 2 a.m. But you know what I do? I lie there and I say, thank you, Father in heaven, I can't sleep. Now I can talk to you. So I'm always thankful for wherever I am. I don't get annoyed, because if you get annoyed, you will never sleep. So there's also a mindset as well. That's back to, if you say you can, you will. And if you say you can't, you won't. Because whether it's a pauper on the street or the king on his throne, we've all got the same amount of time.
So I do have trouble sleeping. I blame the progesterone decline.
Yeah.
Because I used to sleep very well. Of course, I also think that ever since I became a parent, there's just anxiety in your life that now exists, and I worry about her in a way that I never worried about anyone before. But I'm probably also somebody who gets anxious. Of course, hormone replacement therapy has been suggested as somebody who is in the throes of perimenopause, where the estrogen is still all right, but the progesterone is on the decline, so perhaps supplemented with bioidentical progesterone. So I feel that I wanted to ask you what your take is on HRT firstly. I think I've already gleaned some of it, and I wonder if the Yam Cream also addresses this, which you've referred to, of course, but how is it possible that just one cream can balance my progesterone and then help my estrogen? I don't want to dim my estrogen, because that is also on the cliff, and I don't know when it'll start to decline. So what are things that I should be doing? And apart from the Yam Cream, I will, of course, I want to try this Yam Cream, especially because it's not going to hurt me in any way.
No, you see, we are so used to have a test, this is out, take this to get that back, take this to get that back. No.
And also because you said my body won't produce progesterone, but it probably will not produce progesterone now after menopause anyway.
Oh, absolutely it will.
Really?
You see, even if the ovaries are taken, did you know that the adrenal glands kick in? And they'll do it. We live in an incredible body. The one thing that can heal us is our body. And as I said to you, putting that progesterone in, it may initially give a result, but the body's going to get lazy. It's going to go, wow, we don't have to make this anymore. So it's not that one cream can do all that, it's the body. And what this cream does, it works with the body. And if you apply that cream twice a day, 3 weeks a month, if you're still menstruating, stop when menstruating. If you're not menstruating, just choose that week. What it does is the fat cells take it up, because our sex hormones are made from cholesterol, so they're fat-based, and it stimulates the pathway that your body uses to make its own progesterone, whether you're 9 or 90.
Right.
Some great news is, when you boost progesterone, it boosts your bone-building cells, so it prevents osteoporosis.
Which is the main concern with especially women post-menopause, heart and bones.
So when I broke my arm, and they looked at it, it was a total break. When they looked at it after 4 weeks...
How did you do it?
Walking on the rocks with my grandchildren. They were not slippery at all. And then I stood on a huge rock, not realising there was a bit of a dip, that it had water in it. It was slippery. My foot went out. My whole body went slammed onto there, probably my bony hip. People say, well, the nurse that was plastering it, he said, do you have osteoporosis? I said, no. He said, have you had a test? I said, no.
I know.
He just laughed. Here's my test. The only thing that was broken was that wrist. If I had osteoporosis, this is a rock as big as this table. This is a good illustration of the rock. I stood on the middle, my foot went out, my whole body slammed down, rock under me. Just as well I'm not 100 kilo and I'm only 50 kilo. It slammed on it. If I had osteoporosis, more. In fact, they kept asking me, is there anywhere else? I said, no. I might be, but I can't feel it, because all I feel is this. Why don't I have osteoporosis? I was on the pill for 7 years when I was young. And I didn't think that I'd have any problem, because I live like this. But I had a 16-day bleed when I was 55. And I knew then I need to go on the cream. Even though it was all that time ago. I went on it for 1 year, and after that I stopped. And then a few flushes came. So I went back on it for 6 months. Then I stopped, no more flushes. So 7 years on the pill, 18 months, it rebalanced my hormones. And the fact that the flushes didn't come back, that was my sign. My hormones are balanced now.
And it will, because the thing that people talk about are, okay, fine, the hot flashes and the insomnia, but the real dangers are the osteoporosis and the heart health, because of course women who don't have heart attacks at all, suddenly post-menopause, heart health is a problem.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, take estrogen because estrogen will protect you.
No.
And the problem with estrogen is, of course, it's tough to take as a cream in India because of the humidity. And that's what I wanted to ask you about the yam cream. With the humidity, will it still absorb?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it actually absorbs even better.
Okay.
You see, with the boost in progesterone, your body has an intelligence. It knows what to do. It was created to do certain things. Yeah. Once you boost progesterone, if estrogen's low, it'll bring it up. If it's high, it'll bring it down. It's a balancer.
Yeah.
It's a precursor. And testosterone, it'll put it in its right place. That's why I love the description of progesterone, mother.
Yes.
So mother hormone brings everything into control.
Yes.
That is the beauty of the cream. So it's not the power of the cream, it's the power of the body and the herbs to work with those processes to restore balance.
And there's so many symptoms of perimenopause.
So you asked me
menopause.
another question I want to answer. What do I think of HRT? I don't agree with putting synthetic hormones in the body.
But I'm talking about the bioidentical ones now.
Well, the bioidentical, it can work for a while, but we find after a while it's not doing it anymore. But back to the hormone replacement therapy, I've had too many women, so I've seen thousands of women in my almost 5 decades of helping people. On the pill, when they were young, going through menopause, getting hot flushes.
Yes.
Doctor puts them on HRT. 6 years later, they've got a lump in their breast.
Yeah.
Diagnosed with breast cancer. The doctor takes them off HRT immediately. Why? He knows it's one of the side effects. So you say to that doctor, well, why do you put women on it? And his answer is, well, she was suffering and it brought her relief. That's true. And not every woman gets breast cancer. Well, that's also true. But I'm not interested in playing Russian roulette with my health.
But that is a huge concern. And what I've been told is to balance the risk of the breast cancer and the ovarian cancer, you have to take the progesterone because that will protect your uterus. And then if you have a uterus and you're taking estrogen, then you need to take the progesterone. So that is a little bit down the line for me, is that if I do not want to take estrogen as a bioidentical hormone, is there anything in my diet that I can do to help increase my estrogen levels?
I'm here as a testimony to you.
Yeah.
A testimony to you that as a 70-year-old woman who was on the pill for 7 years, so I had major imbalances, by balancing my hormones and keeping to a diet that is high in fibre, that has all the minerals and the vitamins. Daily dal. In fact, at home, I have it every meal. I love dal.
Yeah, we love dal.
And I love your cashews.
Yeah.
So adequate protein, which is found in daily dal and ideally nuts and seeds every meal, and also boosting your hydrochloric acid so you're breaking down your protein properly, and healthy fats. Healthy fats are in your nuts and your seeds, your coconuts, olive oil, coconut oil. They're the 3 essential food groups. Unfortunately today, many Indians in Australia, America, I see it everywhere, they're overdoing the carbohydrates, overdoing the breads and the sugars. Personally, I eat very little bread. In fact, when I'm in India, I don't even look at the bread because I can eat dosa or idli. Well, there is a bread I'll take, and I love the roti.
Yeah, rotis are nice.
And I'll have a little bit of that to dip into my dal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But they're the 3 essential food groups, and they're what your body needs. Only now are they starting to realise this fat-free push back in the 80s, 90s was actually very dangerous.
Yes, absolutely.
Because our sex hormones are made from cholesterol.
We need fat.
We need those good fats.
I think there's a little bit of education now, in certain areas at least, about there's
true.
good fats and there's bad fats and there's good cholesterol and there's bad cholesterol.
That's true. And the bad fats are those cheap seed oils.
Yes.
Don't touch them.
Yes.
Don't go near them. And I know in India you use a lot of ghee.
Yeah.
Well, ghee's only a problem if the cows aren't healthy.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, we've got some unhealthy cows now. Unfortunately, we've got cows that are given antibiotics, that are eating food that's got chemicals on it. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. I want to come to PCOS because that's a big one.
Yes.
Apparently, it's called PMOS now. Apparently, it's become because people have said it's not just in the ovaries. It's in the lungs sometimes. It's in the brain sometimes. So firstly, do you agree with the expansion of the term to PMOS? And I mean, is that a better name? And then if it's just about, because again, I'm trying to save your time here, if it's just about insulin resistance, which they say that, okay, you can address something like PCOS with diet, can that actually make a difference in terms of shrinking cysts? Or is it just, it's something that makes you feel better?
Certainly the insulin resistant plays a role. And when you think of it, why does insulin resistance set up? It's because too much glucose is coming, so too much insulin's released. So the cell basically says, I'm sick of the sight of you, and it starts to resist insulin. So once again, get those carbohydrates and those refined sugars right down. Polycystic ovarian syndrome is again a result of this high estrogen.
Yes.
See, with some women it'll be endometriosis. With women it'll be
present as these.
That's right.
Things.
Some women it's fibroids. Some women it's depression. Some women it's thyroid. Some women it's osteoporosis. Mm-hmm. And it sounds too simple to say that it's once again this high estrogen. And the reason different women have different reactions is because we're different.
Yeah.
We've got different parents. In fact, my daughter's got twins, twin girls, and they're like chalk and cheese, came from the same womb, same DNA. And that's why I believe we all should be our own doctors, because only we know how we feel, only we know what we've been through. So I say to people, trust the voices that come out of your body and try it. Try the balancing of the hormones with the yam cream. Try the castor oil compresses on the abdomen to break down those cysts.
I want to come to the next one, which is thyroid, because last week, actually, I met somebody who has been diagnosed with Hashimoto, and thyroid issues affect a lot of women. Typically more than men. There's, of course, hypo and hyperthyroidism. And I wanted to ask again, what she's been told to do is take synthetic T4, which is, I think, again, what automatically doctors tell you to do. And this is something that you have to be on then for the rest of your life. So again, if you could educate some people with why, your thyroid levels, firstly, like for me, I am doing all my blood tests now because of perimenopause. I feel quite tired a lot of the times. My thyroid levels are fine, but I do know my free T3 is on the lower side of optimal. So perhaps that's why I'm feeling tired. I don't know if I should be taking something to address that. One doctor actually told me you can take T3 as a supplement. And I said, I'm not so sure.
Yes.
So how can one address something like that, feel better? T4 might again just mask the symptoms. Are you actually getting better when you're on it?
That's right.
This question is actually for my friend who is now taking Brazil nuts. She knows selenium helps. But if you can tell us what exactly Hashimoto is, how it affects women, why they feel what they're feeling, and then what they could do to get better. I know it's a big chunk.
Hashimoto's is called an autoimmune disease, and I say to people, if they've been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, reject that immediately, because we've seen people totally heal from so-called autoimmune diseases. And the fact is, the body wasn't designed to eat itself. Now, we need to have a look at why, and I'm very thankful to Dr. John Lee. Dr. John Lee is passed now, but in the 1980s, 90s, he was one of the first voices that was talking about this hormonal imbalance. Yeah. And he shows that high estrogen opposes thyroid function. So whether it be under, whether it be over, whether it be Hashimoto's, whether it be nodules on the thyroid, whatever it is, the hormones need to be balanced.
Yes.
Because once you boost that progesterone, which is what the Yam Cream does, working with the body, it'll bring that estrogen down, and that's vital for the proper functioning of the thyroid. Yes, the thyroid needs selenium to convert iodine into thyroxine, and mercury fillings mercury has an affinity for selenium. So if someone has mercury fillings in their mouth, that can be contributing to their thyroid problems. I'm so thankful to my father, who was an inventor, who instilled in us, you got to know why.
Yeah.
Can you see where I'm going? I'm investigating.
Yeah.
Do they have mercury fillings in their mouth? Are they eating fish every day? Because especially the larger fish, they have mercury.
Yeah.
And the flu vaccine has mercury. So I investigate. So is there mercury? And also, 5 Brazil nuts a day will give you all of the selenium.
I thought it was just one.
5.
One Brazil nut. Okay.
Let's go to 5. That's easy.
Okay.
5 will give you all the selenium that you need. And then now look at iodine.
Yes.
And you can buy something called Lugal solution, which is a combination of iodine and iodide. And iodide is the form of iodine that the breasts and the ovaries use. And you can put a little patch on your arm and it'll be a brown colour, and you watch. And if it's gone in an hour, your iodine levels are low. If there's still a semblance of colour 5 hours later, you've got good iodine. So it's a simple little test you can do. What if it's gone in an hour? What do? Put it on every day until it stays.
Right.
How simple is that? And that's what I love about Nature Cures.
Right.
That's what I love about natural medicine. It is so easy. Now, if there are any growths on the thyroid, then castor oil compresses can be applied, and they will help to break it down.
And what's the best way to make a castor oil compress?
Several layers of cloth, ideally natural fibre, moisten it with castor oil. It'll take a while, maybe half an hour to soak straight through. Apply it, cover it with a little bit of plastic and bandage it on. And just keep it there for as long as you can, maybe overnight. If it's an underactive thyroid, you can wear a cayenne pepper compress. That'll wake it up. If it's an overactive thyroid, do some ice massages. That'll slow it down. I love how simple it is. Now, if you didn't catch all that, audience, it's all in my book. I've got a chapter on the thyroid there.
This is just to draw people to your book, because there's a lot of information, and nobody's going to retain exactly what they need to do.
No, they're not.
But the idea is just for people to know that they are.
So I wanted to quick fire those little bits and pieces as a little taste of what you will find in there. But also, there's no need to know everything I know. It's like I don't have to be a mechanic to drive a car, but my father made me learn how an engine works before I could get my license. He sat down with me for 5 nights, and I was taught about spark plugs and pistons. But I can see his reasoning just to know a little something, and how much more important to know about the body.
Yes, absolutely.
How much more important to know how it works. So you can still watch podcasts by Dr. John Lee. Very interesting, because he was the first guy that blew the whistle on it. And I got a lot of information from Dr. John Lee on what I present about hormones.
Yes. There's also this, you've spoken about the gut a lot. And we do now know that because estrogen is metabolized and perhaps not expelled enough from the body, that could be a cause for estrogen being on the rise. How can we help that process?
That's a very good question, because the liver detoxifies us from excess estrogen. And there are certain foods that will stimulate the pathway so that it can release it. One is your B vitamins, B6, B9, B12. I've got a section in there on women's health. So for those who don't quite catch what I'm saying, it's all in the book. Also, the cabbage family. The cabbage family contain a plant chemical called indoles. And indoles stimulate the pathway that your liver uses to release excess estrogen. Also licorice, and I think licorice is a herb that is often used in India. Not the sweet or lolly licorice, but the herb licorice. If you've got high blood pressure, forget that one, because it can get blood pressure up. And the other one is flaxseed or linseed. It's high in lignans, and lignans also stimulate that pathway that your liver uses to eliminate excess estrogen. So what I do, my advice is, whether it be PCOS, whether it be endometriosis, whether it be fibroids, whether it be a new name, whatever it be, number one, stop what's causing it. Ladies, if every lady listening here would only buy underwear made out of cotton's natural fibre, we change the industry.
Yep.
So get away from anything that would cause the disruption. And some people say, well, how are we going to stop having babies popping up everywhere? Our body, as women, gives us 3 signs that we are ovulating. And in my book, I've got a QR code, and you can download that and get a chart. And the lady charts herself. She takes a temperature. She tests her lubricant in her birth canal. She tests her cervix, and she can start to see a pattern. And usually it's the 3rd week. And so 2nd week, she says to her husband, I'm safe. 3rd week, I'm not safe. 4th week, I'm safe. Right. And it's in that 3rd week that now the husband steps in, and he either masters the art of withdrawal or he uses a condom. Right. One of the first things you said was a lot of women suffer in silence, don't want to talk about this. We've got to talk about it. Because, ladies, you must not suffer in silence. If the body has a problem, it's a voice.
Yes.
And if we don't listen to the first whisper, the body will start screaming.
Yes.
And when it starts screaming, it's doing damage. There is no need for suffering.
No.
There is hope ahead. And so maybe there's millions of women out there that immediately want this yam cream. Once you start implementing a better lifestyle and start taking the green powders like barley green, moringa powder. I have got a friend in Fiji. She's a functional doctor. They call her the nutritionist doctor, even though she's a trained MD. Right. And she gets women from the anterior who've got hormonal problems because plastic's sweeping in there, the pill's sweeping in there. Yes. She's balancing their hormones with those green juices. She gets them together, the wild greens from the jungle, blend it with water and drink that juice. Well, we're not in the jungle. We're in the city jungle now. So for those ladies who can't get that yam cream just quite yet, by changing the lifestyle, getting the stimulants out, starting to wear more cottons, and supplementing with those green powders. So that's hope immediately. Yeah. They can start implementing that straight away.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit more about the gut, because I think there's a lot of conversation now about the gut. And serotonin apparently also is produced in the gut. But then I read somewhere that, but the serotonin produced in the gut can't pass the blood barrier, so it doesn't actually make you feel better. So is that true? Can it?
Yes and no. See, we have a vagus nerve called the wanderer. It starts in the brain and it goes all the way through.
So that's the communication highway.
So what we've got to do is make sure that our gut is working well. Yeah. By not snacking. Yeah. Our stomach needs a rest between meals. Yeah. So breakfast like a king, lunch like a queen, tea like a pauper. Sometimes I have dinner with friends. Of course we do sometimes, but it's not the sometimes. It's what we do every day that determines really the condition of our gut. Yeah. And please, Indians, go back to your dosas, idlis, kombuchas, and your yogurts. Yes. And if you're plant-based, you can get some beautiful coconut yogurts, even cashew or almond yogurts. And what those cultured foods do, they restore, replenish, maintain your gut flora. And your gut flora is so important because that's where your serotonins are made. Yeah. And what feeds our gut flora is prebiotics. Prebiotics is just fibre. Yeah. So more fibres. Now, I understand that I've come at mango time. Is that right?
That's right.
So please have a couple of mangoes every day. I've endeavoured to do that every day while I'm here. But also your vegetables. Yes. Especially your dark green leafies.
Yeah. Just to touch on serotonin, because again, some people do get depressed. Like they suffer from clinical depression, and then they might need medication. So is that something that you get into at all?
It is. It is absolutely. I used to work as a psychiatric nurse, and after 4 years I quickly looked around and I came to the conclusion, even as a young 20-year-old, this isn't working. And we've seen many people come off their antidepressants. That's such good news. By changing the lifestyle, starting to exercise, go to bed early, because it's the hours before midnight where serotonin is released from your pineal gland. Yeah. But it also is connected to the gut. It's actually all connected. We can't chop the body up
Yeah.
And unfortunately, medicine does that a bit. No, it's all connected.
Yes.
It's all connected. So going to bed early, getting your serotonin, but also balancing the hormones. I have seen so many women get off their antidepressants by changing the lifestyle, going to bed early, exercising, adequate water, nutritious diet, going on the yam cream, which little by little boosts mother hormone. She's happy hormone. And then little by little, easing off the antidepressants. If you're on antidepressants, you can't just stop them.
Absolutely.
The only time you can stop them is if you've been on them for 3 weeks. They really haven't had time to basically kick in.
Yes.
And when my friend, who's a doctor, she said, Barbara, in the medical journals, it shows that the side effect of many antidepressants is suicide. Mm-hmm. So I really cautious.
I find it strange that they say the side effect can be depression.
That's right.
An antidepressant.
That's right. That's right. So even if someone's been classified as clinically depressed, I still question that because we have seen so many people heal it. So
we have seen B12 and vitamin D can sometimes mimic depression.
Yeah.
But there must be times when people are clinically depressed and might need more assistance. Do you feel
there's always a cause.
Yeah.
And if you don't find the cause, Dr. Matthew Walker, who wrote the book While We Sleep, he said 6 hours sleep a night for 10 nights in a row doubles the risk of depression.
As in that's too little. You need to sleep those 2 hours more.
Yeah. Now, 6 hours now and then.
Because a lot of people are like, 6 hours is great.
That's right, but that's 10 nights in a row.
Exactly.
And of course, the odd night you'll get 6 hours. Night before last, I only got 6 hours because I had an early morning flight.
Yeah.
It's not the odd day you do it,
Yes,
not
this
the
is
odd
a
day
pattern.
and the odd day you don't. It's what you do every day. And if you do it every day, your body can cope with the odd day. So notice what I said, 10 nights in a row. Absolutely, most people think 6 hours is pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's actually a deception.
Yeah.
It's not a maintenance dose. So lack of sleep, lack of water. Our brain's a hydroelectric system. It's no hydro, no electricity. So if you get someone with clinical depression and you find out they don't go to bed till 2 a.m. every night and they never exercise and they don't drink water, they're living on coffee, and yet they're diagnosed with clinical depression, the first place I start is, let's go to bed earlier, let's implement an exercise program, let's start to get hydrated. It's quite possible that in a month then they don't have clinical depression.
It's so basic, but it sounds so easy to say, just sleep or hydrate or sunlight.
Yeah.
Too easy.
I'll tell you what is hard. If you go to bed at midnight every night, to suddenly go to bed at 9 o'clock, no. So what one lady did, she started to go to bed at 11:30. 2 weeks later, 11. 2 weeks later, 10:30. 2 weeks later, 10. And she little by little trained herself back into earlier nights. And she said, I can't believe the difference that it's made in my life.
Yeah.
And go to bed with a glass of water next to your bed. And make a decision. You don't eat breakfast till you've had at least 1 glass of water. I wake at 5, eat at 7. I usually have about 3 glasses of water. Yeah. And everyone loves that little bit of salt in their mouth before the glass of water. And with exercise, just look at your timetable in a day. Make an appointment with exercise. If you make an appointment, you'll keep to it. Start small and little build up. And in that way, you can do it. It's important to look at your life and say, well, actually, I don't like this. I don't like what's happening in my life. I'm going to make some changes. How am I going to do this?
Yeah.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
And these are such wonderful ways to start because they are good for you.
They are.
And they will heal your soul and they are easy to do. But I think the most important thing is for women especially to give themselves that self-importance.
Oh, absolutely. When I was in South Africa, I was given a book by a young South African doctor. And her friend gave it to me and she said, do you know, she's a medical doctor. And I was telling her, you've got to go to bed early. You've got to start exercising. You've got to drink more water. And she said, as if that'll make any difference. But she actually started.
Yeah. And it made a difference.
And after a month, she could not believe the difference.
Yeah.
Just exercise, more water and going to bed earlier.
Yeah.
And that actually totally changed her life. She's now a functional doctor.
Wow. I wanted to ask you, while I have you here, if a woman is listening to this, and I really hope she is, let's assume she's 47, and she's sort of tired all the time, she's run all her blood work and everything is normal. What can she do? What should be some steps that she can take?
One thing I'll say about blood work and hormones, not all the hormones in the blood at any given time are all biologically active. So it's actually not an accurate test.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't have any blood tests. I don't have any tests at all because everything works. And unfortunately, I've just read a book called The Selling of Sickness, how many of these tests are creating illnesses.
Right.
You know, one lady said, I've got a 2-centimetre cyst on my kidney and I'm so worried. The doctor said it may develop into cancer. I said, well, I don't believe that. And I probably have a 2-centimetre cyst on my kidneys and I'm never going to know.
Right.
So see how the mind can come in and do it.
Yeah, right. Just some closing questions before I let you go, reluctantly. What would you say is perhaps 2 things that are underestimated in women's health today? I feel like you've already addressed it again with sleep and sunshine, perhaps, or movement, but I'll let you choose 2.
Oh, that's hard. Go to bed earlier.
Yeah, go to bed.
Do you know, women are aging. Men and women are aging too young because their body is designed to recharge, rejuvenate, regenerate while they sleep. And I was on a panel yesterday with 2 other doctors and they said the same thing.
Yes.
More sleep and more hydration. You know, our massage therapists can tell by massaging the skin which bodies drink water and which don't.
Okay. Is it true that women need more sleep than men? I feel like I do.
Well,
or is it just individual?
Do you know what the research is showing? Say a lady gets up a few nights to her baby, women can cope with that better than men.
Women can cope with most things, I feel, better than men.
So I say to ladies, no, don't tell your husband to get up and get the baby. Get the baby. They're going to go to work.
I don't know how people are going to take that, though. People like to tell their husbands to contribute more in this country.
Do you know, I think they should contribute more in the day.
Yeah.
Play with the little one. Take the little one to the park, you know, absolutely.
There are lots of things that
they will never regret the time. No one will ever regret the time they put into their little ones.
Yeah. How much do you feel stress is a factor? Modern life is making people sick.
Do you know, I think everyone has stress. It's distress that's the problem. And we should not have distress in our life. If we've got something that's overtaking us, we need to look at it. Where's this coming from? What can I do to ease that? Because life should be good.
Perhaps 2 biggest signs you could point out for women. If you're experiencing this, then you know that you are deeply depleted in some way.
Well, I'd like to suggest that it's often a hormonal imbalance. Because that's the number 1 cause for postnatal depression. It's the number 1 cause for premenstrual tension. The mother hormone progesterone's been displaced, so maybe the hormones need to be displaced. I'll tell you a quick funny story. There was a retreat in America that was selling it and they couldn't get it for a month and they had men ringing up saying, have you got the cream yet? My wife needs it. My wife needs it.
She really needs it.
The men could see the difference when the ladies were on the cream.
That's why I always tell them, even the show is called All About Her, it's not just for women to watch because, you know, as a man, you can watch this and benefit from it as well by just a happy woman. Is a happy planet.
It is. We've got a saying in Australia, happy wife, happy life.
Happy life. We've got that saying here as well. Again, I think you might have touched on it, but if we put it in a sort of succinct package, what does an ideal morning look like for a female body?
Well, to start with the morning, you've got to start the night before.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you my morning this morning. I was able to get to bed at 9:30. I woke at 5. Which I was pretty happy with that. First thing I did was I drank water and then usually go to the bathroom. And then I always pray. I always give God my day. I say, Father in heaven, I need wisdom and guidance, and He loves to give it. And then I have more water. And then I do my push-ups. And then...
Empty stomach exercise.
Yes, ladies push-ups, so on the knees. And the squats and the stretches and the arms, standing against the wall, ladies, arms like that, and then arms down, 7 seconds each. Yeah. Whoa, that's very good.
For the show, and just mobility.
Very good for upper body. And then I had my hot and cold shower, ending with cold, and more water. And then I went and had breakfast. I had mango, I had cashews. I am in Mumbai. I want to have mangoes and cashews. And then I had dosa.
Yeah.
They made me a lovely dosa masala with the coconut chutney. So that was my breakfast. That is a great start for the day. And then I put on my beautiful cotton clothes.
That's all it takes. The only thing I'm missing is the sunlight.
Yes.
But we don't get much sunlight in Mumbai.
Yes, I had no time to get out there today. Maybe this afternoon.
Maybe this afternoon. Again, one perhaps a harmful wellness trend that you see happening in the world.
A harmful wellness trend is people thinking that they need a lot of supplements.
Yeah.
Do you know, their supplements can be very, very expensive. And I know a friend who works in sewage. He said you would not believe the tablets that come in the sewage.
Really?
Wow. So that maybe they're medical and health.
Right.
The fact is that we need hydrochloric acid to break those tablets down. So the tablets should be taken with the meal.
Yep.
There's no hydrochloric acid in our stomach in the morning. Hydrochloric acid only is released when we see, smell, eat food. Then it's released.
I've been told the two supplements I should be taking are omega-3, magnesium, sometimes a probiotic. I can get these from food.
Yes, you can. The magnesium is in high amounts in all your dark green leafy vegetables. It's also in the Celtic or the Baja or the hand-hasted Indian salt. The problem is magnesium's been leached out of the body because of stimulants. There's the refined sugars, the caffeines, the alcohols. They are big at leaching those minerals out.
If you could change one thing perhaps about how medical schools train their doctors, what would you do? I feel like all doctors should study food, perhaps.
They should. You know, I heard recently that it's an elective subject now.
Really?
Which means some go through not even looking at it.
Yeah.
I love Dr. Robert Thompson, who wrote the book The Calcium Lie. He's a medical doctor. He was getting frustrated. His patients weren't getting better. He was about to get out of it and he thought, I spent a lot of time and money getting into this. So he did a nutrition course and his eyes were open.
Yes.
He said, we study this in medicine, but it's like, woof, what was that?
Yeah.
What was that? If there's one thing I would change, I think 1 year out of those 7 should be devoted to nutrition. But not only nutrition, looking very seriously at digestion, the gut, how it handles it.
Yeah. I think the biggest takeaway is just, like you said, you are in tune with your body, you listen to your body,
That's
but
right.
that's because you've silenced a lot of the noise around you and you've trained yourself to do that.
Do you know, that's a very important point, is turn the noise off.
Yeah.
There should be times where there's total silence. My daughter visited a friend one day and she said, Mum, there was a TV on in every room and a different station in every room. It's one of the things I love to do after like the event last night where a lot of people, a lot of cameras, a lot of things happening. I go to my room, total quiet.
But people I don't know what to do. They like to have background sound because they feel, I don't know, either less alone.
Do you know, when I first went to the country, I found the quiet hard. So I used to have the radio on.
Yeah.
And then I had it on less.
Yes.
And less.
Yes.
And less. And now, if it's on, it's almost like, turn that off.
Yes.
Because in Australia, where I live, there's the birds. Do you know that just before the sun rises every day, there's a dawn chorus? Every bird sings together.
Yeah.
It's called the dawn chorus. And I love being with my grandchildren saying, can you hear the dawn chorus?
But you know, our dawn chorus outside my building happens at 3 a.m. because of all the construction work and all the lights are on and all the birds are confused.
Right. Yes.
So I try and drown out that pre-dawn chorus.
But silence and quiet.
Silence.
Taking time to enjoy.
Yeah. I think on that note, we can bring this podcast to a close. But I want to thank you so much because I do feel that you have lots of wisdom and lots of knowledge. And I think that a lot of people will benefit from the things. Again, the Yam Cream, so simple, sleep, sunshine, movement, things that we know, things that we know we should be doing.
Yes.
I think it's really about just making an appointment with fitness.
It is. One 15-year-old girl said to me, as if water would help with depression. I said, you'd be very surprised.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just try.
Yeah, and just try it.
Just try it.
Exactly. So thank you so much for this conversation. I think that we've covered so many things from PCOS to endometriosis, thyroid issues, menstruation, menopause, perimenopause. I think that maybe if there's one takeaway for everyone, it's just to be more in tune with their bodies, to listen to their bodies, to turn off the noise if possible. And some of the answers are so simple. The idea is not to be skeptical, because sometimes the answer really is that simple. The main thing is that we feel disconnected from our bodies today as women, and the idea is to reconnect. So again, thank you so much. Again, for our audience, the biggest takeaway being, please, women, start paying attention to your bodies a little earlier, a little deeper, and a little bit with compassion, with kindness. And thank you again for sharing your perspective with us. For everyone watching or listening, please do let us know what part of this conversation resonated with you the most. And do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to All About Her. Until next time, stay informed, stay healthy, and we will see you in the next episode.